So welcome to a new guide on this channel, and on this occasion is the arpeggiator from Studio One. Now this is not a review, it's a deep dive guide about the device. Now everything on this guide is in tiny chapters, so if you look at the description of the timeline, you can jump to a section or skip the ones you don't want. Now remember, if you like this guide, like and subscribe please, and if you have the money and you want to buy me a coffee, you can. Everything is on the description. So I'm using an instance of the My Time, and I'm using an init patch right here, just the init patch. I could go to default, and we are gonna be getting kind of a nice kind of a bass, and I'm gonna go down in volume. But we do get a bass. Okay, I'm just gonna go to use the default patch. So to use an arpeggiator, it's a note effects. It lives within the instruments section, and if you go right here at the top, it's gonna say note effects. So if you open this, you will have 4 different note effects that we have available on Studio One. So how can we use it? Well, there are a couple ways. You can grab this and you can just toss it on your channel, and there you go. You have your arpeggiator, and if I play one single key, is going to repeat that note we are playing. Now, of course, this is not an insert. This is a note effects. It will just work as part of the instrument. It sits between your MIDI keyboard. Right here is going to be your note effects, and then whatever we do, this is going to spit it out to the channel and then the instrument. So I'm going to close this and just keep the arpeggiator. So by going right here, notice that you don't get an insert, or it's not, it doesn't live right here. It lives in a different way. And when you enable this, it's going to give you a reference right here saying, dude, you have a note effects. So you can open it and you can close it. And if you have many, it's going to show right here. Now, if you go to the inspector, you have a different way of adding them. If I go right here at the bottom, it's going to say note effects, and you can even right click and remove this, or just add new ones like the arpeggiator that we're going to be using right now. And you can of course disable it or enable it from here, but you can also do it from here, right? Okay, so let's talk about what we can do with the arpeggiator. So this one will just repeat a note. If I play a single note, it's just going to repeat it. And if I play a chord, it's going to repeat that chord. Let me go an octave higher. It's going to repeat that note. It's going to arpeggiate whatever it is that you're doing. And if I open my tie, I'm doing a minor chord, and it's just arpeggiating with, actually that's a minor chord. It's just going through the different notes. How it's going through the different notes? Well, the rate is going to be decided by these controls we have right here. So if I do the minor chord, this is just going to go slower and slower, or we can go faster in tempo. Of course, at the bottom, you have more controls. You have your swing control, and this is just going to apply swing. We go all the way down, we get nothing. Now the gate is going to affect whatever it is that we are doing. Now depends on what you're doing on the instrument, the gate will do something. Now it's going to make the notes shorter, or it's going to make them wider. If I go all the way down and I play again, the notes are a little bit different. Now in this case, depends on what you're doing right here. All the notes are kind of a super big, and we have a some kind of release. So if I adjust this, maybe do it something like that. And I'm gonna be disabling this and go to the mod effects. And you know what? I'm gonna go to an init patch. So if I go to the init patch that you have right here, we have something very simple, so a very simple sound, and we can hear what the gate is doing. The notes are very short, or we can make the notes wider. And if you go all the way up, all the way wide, the notes are gonna start overlapping. And we can see it right here on the synthesizer. So that's what the gate will do, is we'll make it shorter or make it wider. Now, this depends on what you're doing right here on your synthesizer as well, on your instrument. If the envelope or the sound is very staccato or very short, it's going to affect how the gate works. If I do something like that, which is super short, it doesn't matter. I'm kind of right here, or make them wide, because the final sound of the synthesizer is super short. So you need to have something wide in order to this to work. So then you have your range control. Right now, if I do a minor chord, it's just going to play whatever I'm playing right here. It's going to do that. It's going to loop between those, through those notes. But it's going to do it on this octave range. So this is 1. Now, if I do 2, it's going to repeat whatever it is that we are doing or holding or playing on this octave and the next octave of the range. So it's going to be going to this one and this one. Right? So it's doing this octave and then repeating whatever it is that we're doing on the next octave as well. So you can go up to 4 octaves. If I go all the way to 4, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 octaves. And then just repeat and repeat. Pretty simple and standard for all synthesizers. The sound is a little bit dull. Let me just do a little bit of cutoff. I like it a little bit more. Okay, so then you have your other options, the next section, which is going to be this section you have right here. So if you're playing an instrument, you're playing a keyboard, and you make a chord, as soon as you release it, the arpeggiator will stop. Well, you can hold whatever it is that you're doing. So if I play a key and turn the hold on, I'm going to release my keys. I'm not playing any keys anymore, and it's going to hold it for you. And if you play a different key, it's just going to hold it again for you. If I do a 7th, it's just going to hold it. If I turn it off, it's going to die, of course. Okay, so remember that this one, the arpeggiator, the note effects, sits between your keyboard, your MIDI keyboard, and your synthesizer. So this one, it's taking information from your MIDI keyboard, doing its job, and then sending it to right here to the synthesizer. So whatever we play in terms of velocity on our keyboard is not going to the synthesizer directly. It's going through the arpeggiator. So this one will decide how your velocity or what you're doing with your keys will affect the sound of your patch. So right now on this one, I'm not doing anything. This one is not affecting the velocity, it's not affecting the filter, and it's not affecting the volume. So I'm going to go down and I'm going to do velocity all the way up. So if I play soft, it's going to be darker because the velocity is not opening the cutoff. And if you don't know how the My Tai works, I've already made a guide, so you can go to my channel and look at the guide and learn how to use a synthesizer. But if I play a key and I play it very softly on my MIDI keyboard, the velocity is going to be low, so we have a darker sound. But on this one, if I play higher or if I play harder, the velocity is going to modulate the cutoff up. So this is what happens on this synthesizer. So you need to go through here if you want to manage your velocity. Right now, if I play soft, it's darker. If I play a little bit harder, it's just, brighter. And this happens on this part of the synthesizer. Now, velocity all the way up and an input is going to listen to whatever it is that you're doing. And if you're maxed on the velocity, whatever you do on your keyboard, it's whatever is going to come out. So if I play soft, it's going to be soft. And if I play hard, it's going to be hard. Soft, hard. Now, this one is a global control. So 100%, it means that whatever you do on your keyboard will go directly. But if I scale it down, it doesn't matter if I play soft and hard. This is kind of a global control. It will matter, but it's not going to be velocity 100%. If I do it soft, it's going to be even softer. And if I play a little bit harder, it's a little bit darker. Because the velocity, it's never 100% of whatever it is that you're doing on your MIDI keyboard. If I go all the way up, it's brighter because I'm playing harder. But if I play it the same way, the velocity is darker. So this reacts like a global control. If I play hard, it's not that bright. So you're kind of scaling down whatever it is that you're doing from your input, whatever you're playing. Now, this is of course because we are using our MIDI keyboard, and the velocity will come off the keyboard, but you can decide a fix. So if I go to fix, now the arpeggiator will not listen to whatever it is that you're playing. It's going to give you or play or output a fixed velocity. So if I do soft, it's going to be that. And if I do hard, it's going to be that. It's always the same. Who's going to be deciding how the velocity is going to be? Well, it's going to be this knob. If you're going all the way up, the velocity, it's always maxed. 128. Softer, if you play soft or you play hard. Doesn't matter. So you can scale it down and your velocity will be different, but constant every single time. It doesn't matter if you play soft or you play hard. Now, this one has aftertouch enabled, so I kind of pressed it, by mistake. I'm gonna disable the aftertouch. Right, so this is what the velocity will do. So since this is an arpeggiator, you have different types of of arps. If I go to the first one, and I'm going to do a minor one, is going to be down and up. And we can see it right here. Maybe if I go slower, you can see it going from down and up. The next one is going to be up and down. This one is going to be up and down. Starts up, and then goes down. Kind of a triangle fashion. The other one is going to be the opposite, but it's going to be down and up instead of up and down. Now the next one is going to be random, and I believe I don't need to explain what random is. It's just going to be random. And so far, this is pretty understandable, pretty simple. But then you have the other options, and they look a little bit confusing. So the play mode is going to be from input. Usually this is called as played. So if I go here, this means that it will remember the order I play the keys, and that's going to be the motion. That's going to be kind of the pattern. So I'm going to be playing a lower key, and for now it's going to be that low key. Now if I play a new key, I'm going to be playing a higher key. So first is my low, then my C high, and that's the order. First my low, and then the C high. If I play something in between, that's going to be the order. And we keep playing notes, and it's going to remember the order of the notes and use it as a pattern. That's why it's called as played. Alright, pretty simple. Now, then you have this one, and this one is the chord mode. So if we do a chord, by default the arpeggiator is going to arpeggiate the notes that we are playing. But in this case, since we have a chord mode, it will not arpeggiate the chord. It's just going to repeat it. And notice that right here we have kind of an icon that says first one note and then the other one. So first is doing one note and then repeating. It's going to do the first note or whatever note it's picking up and then repeating the chord. That's what it means. Could be useful. So that's it. That's pretty much the arpeggiator, but we can do a lot more. So you have the pattern section right here and everything we have right here. So this is not a sequencer. It's an arpeggiator. So you cannot alter pitch. This is going to loop whatever is that you're playing. You cannot change, the pitch of whatever is that you're playing. You can do something like that, but with a different device, not with this one. So whenever you do pattern, what you can do is this kind of enables the kind of a step sequencer mode. But what we do with the step sequencer is we alter the velocity and we alter the gate. So you can go up to 32. Notice that you have 32. And I can go down, and right here at the bottom, you will need to select the pattern length. So you can do up to 32 or just, narrow it down to maybe 8. So, okay, so if I play a chord and I'm going to be going to, up. And for now, I'm just going to be doing that gate. So we're going to loop through our chord. Pretty simple. Let me do a minor. Pretty simple, right? We are not doing anything new. Now, of course, since this is looping the different steps, what we can do, we can mess with the velocity. So everything that we are doing is going to be messing with the velocity on each step. So if you think about this, it's like us modulating or providing on a step fashion instructions to the velocity control. So if I play it again, some notes are going to be up and some notes are going to be down. Now, the velocity control still, and if I go to fix, still works as a global control, especially when you go to pattern. Not on fix, because fix is going to not listen to whatever you have right here. So this still works as a global control. What we are doing is pretty much bringing them all down. If I go up, we are using whatever information we have right here. And if I go all the way down, we are pretty much gating this. Right. So on each bar, we can go up and down, and this is going to alter the velocity. What's going to happen if we drag it from, horizontally? Notice that we can. So let me just go maybe do a good example. I'm going to maybe go right there. So when you drag it horizontally, this is going to alter the gate, but on a step-by-step basis. So if I go maybe there, the gate for the step number 2 is going to be short. the 4 is going to be short, and the 8 is going to be short. And we're going to be able to list this. Now, the gate still works as a global control. If I go narrow, these ones are going to be wider, but if everything is super narrow, you're not going to notice the difference. But if I go wider, this is wide and this is narrow. Right. Let me just maybe go closer. And we can really hear the difference. Now, this has a different mode, which is we can make the gate of this one, since we can go all the way up to 200%. And let me go to a default value. We can make the gate of each note overlap the next note. So if I make this super wide, we are going to be getting a combination of the first note overlapping the second one, and then so on and so on and so on. And this, you could get cool sounds, because it's not that common. And on top of that, of course, you can mess with the velocity and so on, and make it maybe even shorter, and then the other one larger, and this one larger, and this one shorter, and so on, and so on, and so on. So you can create or just, do different patterns. So I'm going to go to poly and maybe select, maybe. I kind of like this one, it's a little bit too loud. So if I play a clip, maybe I'm going to go to the next one. Okay, so remember, you can go right here at the top and you have different presets. You don't have a lot, but you do have some presets that you can use just to see, what you can do. Notice how the sound is changing from default to something like, this. It's really changing. So everything that you do, if you do something right here that it's kind of a, not the normal arpeggiator, you can store it as a preset, as your preset, and you can update presets and import and load presets. So that's it pretty much. It's a very simple device, but very useful when we produce or we create music. So if you liked this guide, remember to like and subscribe. And if you have the money and you want to buy me a coffee just to say thanks, you can. Go to the links at the description. You have the PayPal button, the link to PayPal. You have the Google Thanks, and you have Patreon. So maybe you can be a 1-month Patreon and make me happy. All right. So see you on the next one.